Hello everyone, today we are going to learn about a very simple thing, that is system properties. Now maybe you have purchased a laptop or a desktop recently from your supplier as per the configuration what you have provided to your supplier. So the configuration whatever you have given to your supplier, maybe he has combined all those things properly into your desktop or into your laptop. So as per the configuration whatever you have received, you need to check it whether those are correct or not, or when you will be using it for the first time, that what sort of operating system or what is the service pack of the operating system, and you need to check that whether the operating system is 64-bit or 32-bit type. So that will be helpful later when you will be installing any software. So if your operating system is 64-bit or 32-bit, then you need to choose the software in that way. So both of these should be in sync. So if your software is 32-bit, then definitely your operating system should support that, so that should be 32-bit as well. So in case of 64-bit operating system, you need to choose 64-bit software to run it properly in your system. Also, I will be explaining the Windows Experience Index and the RAM whatever you have received, how much RAM is usable, and you can also check that the task which are running for the first time, or it will be very useful later when you will be installing the software, that when a software or a set of software is running into your system, then you can check that how much disk space it's consuming or how much RAM it's consuming. You can also check that how much processor allocation is required for that particular software. So let's move into that part, that how you can check it. So you can directly go to the start menu and jump into the computer, or you can also check from the computer icon. You can right click onto it and check the properties. So once you click into it, then a window will come up and you can see the basic information about your computer. Here you can see that the Windows edition, that is the Windows 7 Ultimate, which has been installed in my personal laptop, and here's the copyright and the service pack. So in your case, maybe the service pack will be different. It may be service pack 2 or service pack 3, whatever service pack you have received. So your supplier has installed the operating system. So if you have purchased the operating system from your supplier, then you will get the product ID as well. So the same product ID has been used during the installation of the operating system. So now you can see that the system rating here, the Windows Experience Index, which is very helpful, and you should generate the Windows Experience Index time to time to check the performance of your PC. I'll be discussing about this later. So let's move into the next part, that what is the processor. So here in this case, Intel Pentium CPU N3540. so this is the processor number which you can check from internet, from Google or any search engine you can use, and you can see whether the processor you have received that is correct as per the configuration you have given to your supplier or not. And you can check that how many cores are available in that processor. So in this case, this is a Intel quad core processor which have 4 cores into it. So I'll be discussing that how you can check the processor cores, and the installed memory in the next part, that which is the RAM or the physical memory, that is 4 GB in this case, and 3.89 GB is usable. The system type you can see, as we are discussing earlier, that 64-bit operating system in this case. So you have to choose 64-bit software. Whatever software you will be installing later, that should be 64-bit to work properly. 32-bit operating system will support the 32-bit softwares in future. You can also install 32-bit softwares in 64-bit operating system, because that will sometimes maintain the backward compatibility, so that's not an issue. So pen and touch, the next step you can see the pen and touch. So if you have a laptop or a tablet, then the pen or the touch facility should be there, so that will be visible here. After that, the basic information about the computer name, domain and workgroup settings you can see. So you can also change the computer description from here. After change settings, so you can put the computer description here. You can see the hardware information and what the hardwares which are installed already in your system. From the device manager, you can directly click onto it, that is the device manager, and here the batteries, Bluetooth computer, disk drives, what are the disk drive, it may be 1 or 2 if you have SSD and HDD parallelly, then you have 2 disk drives which will be shown up here, and the display adapters, CD, DVD, ROM drives, human interfaces, and basically this one is the external devices which are connected to the computer, and imaging devices, which is the camera or the webcam, the keyboard, memory technology driver, then mice, monitors, network adapters, all these things will be shown up here. So the most important thing is processor. You can go to the processors, and here you can see that it's 4 processors which are visible here, which is basically the 4 cores of the processor. So here in this case I have quad core processor, so the 4 cores of that quad core processor is visible here. Now you can see the sound, video and game controllers also as well from here, and the system devices, and the USB, that is the universal serial bus controllers, which will be visible here as well. Now this is the computer name and the full computer name which has been given by your supplier or maybe the person who has installed the operating system, and you can change it later as well from the user settings. So now moving into the Windows Experience Index. So this is the Windows Experience Index which I have received, that is a 4.1, which is not too bad, but it's a, I'll say it's optimum in this case. So here as you can see, depending on certain parameters, that is the processor, memory, graphics, gaming graphics and primary hard disk. So these are the basic parameters which has been counted here to get the rating. So the sub score will be visible here. So in this case processor, that what is rated here is like calculation per second, so 6.8 out of 7.9. So basically the scale is 1.0 to 7.9. so out of 7.9 how much you have received, that is the sub score, that is 6.8, which is not too bad. So memory for RAM, that is the memory operations per second, that is 5.9. so this is the lowest sub score, that is 4.1, and that is your Windows Experience Index. So the lowest sub score, which is determined by the lowest sub score, there is the base score will be the lowest sub score here, so that will be your Windows Experience Index. So the higher the sub score is or the base score is, better the performance. So moving on to the next part, now you can check the task manager where all the applications, processes, services, and you can check the performance of your PC, networking related things, and the users. So if there are more than one user who have logged into this system, you can see that those users here, and you can select a particular user and log off. So maybe you are the administrator, so if you are the administrator then you can log off as well, or other admin privileged users can log off as well. Now moving on to the processes, so here all the applications will be visible, and here all the processes will be visible. So now I can see that there are 64 processes which are visible, which are running into the system, and you can see the description, all the processes and the memory consumed by the processes. So right now the recorder is consuming the most of the memory, and the CPU utility as well. So the recorder, which is again using the most of the CPU allocation, and you can see the services, what are the services are running or stopped. You can get the status from here, and you can get the process ID. If you want to kill a particular process which is a zombie process, you can kill it from command prompt. So that's why the PID has been given here. We can also get the PID from the command prompt, but for better user experience we can have the PID from here, which is unlike the other operating system, other Unix or Linux operating system, which we need to know from the terminal only. Now the important thing is performance. Here you can see the CPU usage and the memory usage. Now here, as you can see, the physical memory usage history, which is 1.56 GB, which is getting utilized right now, and the CPU usage is 12%. That is 12% of my total CPU is getting utilized right now. Now you can see the 4 blocks here. 4 blocks depicts the 4 cores of my processor. If it is a quad core processor, then you can see the 4 blocks. If it is a dual core processor, then you can see there are only 2 blocks. Now you can see more about the processes from the resource monitor, or you can see about the CPU and the disk and network and the RAM usage history from here. So these are the processes which are running in the CPU, and you can get the process ID and what processes are running. And you can also see that which particular file is getting used for that particular process. You can check that from here, and you can see the CPU utilization, disk utilization, network utilization, and memory utilization from this pane. If you have any question, then you can post it in the comment section, and if you like the video, then please subscribe and share with others.